ኣብዚ matrix algebra so تعت algebra ወይ operations كنكايد نرى so matrix addition አላትና ተቀዳሚቲ ኣብታ ዝሓለፈት ከምዚ equality of two matrices ታይኮን ዝመስርኢና ነርና now matrix addition نرى መጀመሪያ so matrices can be added only when they have the same size ተሕዳ the same size ምዝህልዎም ጥራይና addition ናይ matrix كنكايد ንኽእል ስለዚህ እዚኣ 2/3 again እዚኣ ከንታ 2/3 ማለት ስለዚህ زيان حراريخما زيا بلاس زيا خجبر خيلة مالتي تحرو زيا بلاس زيا عنك خجبر خيلة again تحرو or let's say زيا مزيا خاني كدب مريا مالتي check تغيركم تنكاي حتى زلوا 3 plus 1 is nothing but 4 minus 1 plus of 6 is nothing but is 5 4 into minus 2 is nothing but it is 2 the same apply for the second row and so you will get exactly this one so meaning add corresponding entries same row same column so cannot add a 2/3 matrix so for instance if you have let's say 1 2 3 4 5 6 matrices which is this is a 3/2 again plus نحقركم 1 2 3 4 نحقركم this is a 2/2 so easy بdimension the same ስለዚህ يكون كندمر عين خلنا مالتي ስለዚህ in order to perform matrix addition we can addition and matrix ከተካሄድ እንደራኸይና ወይ ከነካሄድ እንደራኸይና they must have the same size and then the corresponding entries ካኒ ታይንገብር ማለት እንደደመርና ኸይድ ማለት scalar multiplication ካኒ apply ክንገብር ከልና እንታዩ let's say this is the scalar which is any constant ማለት let's say this is -3 that multiplies to this matrix so it is going to multiply what to each entries malati tada multiply grato -3 into 2 is -6 -3 into -4 is which is 12 and also -3 into 1 is again -3 and so on and so forth so scalar multiply to a matrix is nothing but it multiplies to all the entries of that matrix malati and also you have a matrix A if you multiply by this constant then your result is or the result is C times of A so if entries represent quantities then scalar multiplication rescales the entire data table malati again abziantay usina namaiti trayakum ti inventory at the start and also end of the week malati ti inventory at the start and also at end of the week let's say billna and also we represent E malati then the unit sols are which is something B minus E khani alana malati ስለዚህ at the start and the end of the week yeah so the difference ናይክልቲዮ እዚ መስልና ኣሎ ማለት difference of ናይዞም ክልተ matrix representation ኮንጀሎ ማለት so matrix addition and also matrix subtraction ካ is nothing but እንታይ ኩሎም ከላሎ the same size ኩሎም ዘሎ ስለዚህ ኣብዚ ተሐራሪኹማ this is 2/3 again this is what 2/3 and the result has to come also what 2/3 ab matrix addition matrix subtraction the size night of matrix the same كمصالو wherever the operation applies govern addition and subtraction the result of the operation has to be again the same malati the two size the same كمصخلالو matrix multiplication ክንገብር ከልና ኩሉ ግዜ ቲ dimension rule check ክንገብራለና which is the applicability ወይ ካነ ከሚገርና operation ክንገብር ከልና ማለት ስለዚህ እዚያ if our matrix A is which is having m rows and n columns and also matrix B is something having n rows and p columns then the product which is A B እንዳስራልና ኮይኑ ታይኮናሎ m times m by p ይخመጸልና ዘለዎ which is the number of columns of matrix A has to match with the number of rows of what matrix B and also the result can m by p مثلا so usually 2/3 نحرالنا خوينو ናይ a ተሓደ ኻኒ let's say 3/2 ንሕርዳ 3/4 ንሕርዳ خوينو then this with this one has to be cancelled out and so the result has to come which is 2/4 so cancel out in a sense ይክራይኩም the number of columns of the first matrix and also number of rows of the second matrix when we multiply then they give us a result of 2/3 and so is very easy ማለት ስለዚህ this is our matrix A and so the matrix L and the m by n line is fine maybe so results in m by p ማለት so the inside dimension must match ማለት this part and also this part ማለት okay how one let's say how one entry of AB or the product AB is computed حجي حانتس كمي قرنا تاش من قبلنا so this is nothing but it is 2 by 3 and this is nothing but which is 3 by 2 oh we can see from this one or the number of columns of the first matrix and also the number of rows of the second matrix matches so our result is possibly which is 2 by 2 تمزيا مالتي ስለዚህ እንትኮን ድሕር ኮይና ታ operation ኩሉ ግዜ እንታይ ክትገብሩ ዘለኩም ማለት you have to multiply this row into what this column ማለት ስለዚህ እንድሕዳሪኹሞ ዳሮው ንወስዳ ዘለና ዘለዋ ኢንትሪስ ሰለስተ እዮም እዛ ኮለም ንወስዳ ዘለና ዘለዋ ኢንትሪስ ካኒ ሰለስተ እዮም ስለዚ እዛ ቀዳመይቲ ዘላ ኢንፑት እዚኣ I have to multiply with this one so 2 times 1 plus ከገብረ ማለት then again minus 1 into 2 which is minus 1 times of 2 plus ከገብረ then again ምዝያኻ ኸይደ which is 4 times into 3 ስለዚ ድሕዳሪነ ዝኾነ ናምበር ዝተረፈና የለን ኩሉ እንታይ ገርና ማለት multiply ገርና ኢና ማለት ስለዚ እዚኣ እንታይ ትመጽና 2 which is minus 2 plus of 12 which is 10 ማለት that am I correct yeah it should be 10 so this is something there is calculation error with this one okay so check to go malati so I think this has to be 2 into 1 is 2 minus 1 minus 2 4 into 3 so again 2 minus 2 no exactly yeah you are right so this has to be this is right this is 0 so this is correct you can see from this one also directly you have this result that is for the first one second one is again you have to multiply it with this one then abza result abza ያኸት መስልኩም ሳ ማለት ታኸቢት መጽ ቦታ abza ተኸውን ማለት ካኡ ድሕሩ እንታይ ትገብሩ ማለት the same thing ነዚኣ multiply with the and ሕግርና ቦታ ይኸውን እዚ ኦፕሬሽን ዝካየድ ዘሎ ቦታ ኣብዛ ትመጽ ማለት again እዚኣ ምዝሓንት ኻን ድሕራ አራቢሕኩማ again ቦታ ኻን ሰብዛ ተኸውን so this is all the way how to multiply two matrices malatim with the number of columns of the first matrix and number of rows of the second matrix has to match and so then you apply so entry aij which is ij of ab is nothing but the row I of a dotted with column j of b malati so dotted is nothing but what dot product of item vectors and ረክብ ዘለና ማለት ናይ ዜሮ ምስቲ dot product ንሕገርና እዩ ማለት even though dot product ዝብል ኣብዚ ሕጂ ተዘራናይሲ ከም ዝንገብሮ ጻሕና ማለት ክልተ vectors ንሕዳ dot ጌርካዮም let's say ናምነስ this 1 2 ኢለ ካል ኻን ንሕዳ ምጽዮ let's say 3 4 ንሕዳ ኢለ this is what we call dotted ትብለና ዘላ ማለት so this is nothing but 1 into 3 is nothing but 1 times of 3 plus 2 into what 4 malati which is nothing but 1 into 3 is 3 plus 2 into 2 is which is 2 into 4 is 8 which is 11 malati so this is something which is that we are going to see it later in tadharay malati unitat malati but this is what it is telling us about the dot so far the entire inalna malati addition reinaina scalar multiplication reinaina subtraction reinaina again on how to compute the product of two matrices one reina malati good then absent idena zello let's say as up to 2.2 malati taqadamiti revenue by store and men ziblanallo sales quantities silna matrix a wasina ilana malati rows are let's say 10 rows let's say this is store let's say s1 velo zakhani store s silna no sodo columns are products malati let's say z a b zello khani tay malati products malati ስለዚህ ቲ price vector ካንት ያልና ማለት 12 18 and 25 አልና ማለት ሕጂ ኣብዚ እንታይ ኢና ንገብር ዘለና ማለት እንተዳ አርቢሕና ኣብቲ ስቶር ዘሎ ፕሮዳክት ምስትናቱ prices እንተዳ አራቢሕና ዮ ቲ revenue ዝበሃል እዚ መጸና እዩ ማለት ሕጂ q into p ያስተያየቱን ዘሎ ማለት ንኽልቲኦም ድሕር አርቢሕኩም which is እዚኣ ክንደት መጸና ዘለና 3 by 1 again እዚኣ ኻን ድሕር አርቢሕኩም dimension እዚኣ ክንደት 2 by 3 ስለዚህ ኣብዚ እንታይ ዘሎ ማለት number of rows number of rows, number of columns of matrix Q is match with the number of rows of what? The vector B vector P مالتي. ስለዚህ ኣብዚ እንድሕሪና match ለስ ገይር ዘሎ ሪዛልትናትና 2 by 1 ክመጽእ ኣለዎ ማለቲ. Again, as you can see, 2 by 1 መጽእ ኣሎ. So all in all, this is what? Something that you can see in real world እንድሕር ዳ row 1, row 2 of matrix Q, store 1, store 2 ኢልናዮ to price vector ካ እንድሕር ኮይኑ when we multiply this one to ኣታውን ሃናስ ክንፈልጥ ንኽእል ኢና ማለት ኣብ መሰኮ store ዘለና ክንደይ ክኸውን እዩ total ሃነ ጅናምነት እዚ store 1 again gonna store 2 ዘሎ ሲ total revenue ሃና ንፈልጥ ማለት ስለዚህ this is matrix multiplication computes both the store revenues at once ማለት then matrix multiplication is not usually commutative. So commutative icon ኣብነት ኣብ numbers እንድሕር ዳሪና real numbers commutative. Let's say 2 times 3 ኢለን again this is nothing but 6, 3 times 2 ኢለ ኻኒ ታይክ መጸለይ this is again 6 ማለት. Let's say minus 3 times 2 ኢለን this is minus 6, again 2 times of minus 3 እንድሕር ዳ ኢለ ሲ this is nothing but it is again negative 6 ማለት. ስለዚህ ኣብ real number ክንወስዶ ኸልና እቲ numbers ባላቶም እቲ real numbers numbers commutative ማለት ብላሕን ጸገም የብልናን ማለት but ab matrices ግን equal ማለት a times b c it doesn't mean that b times a. ስለዚህ counter example ተወስዱ ተለኹም order matter ገብር ስለዝኾነ ማለት so matrix multiplication behaves like composition ማለት doing operation b then operation a is not always the same as doing a and b ማለት so try to be very careful when you are computing matrix. Let's say the dot product, the product of the matrix A into B, it doesn't mean that what B into A. So absent is the identity matrix نرلنا ويك identity matrix زبحلو ويك أنا identity matrix إلنا نوصل تايو نابنت أبريل number نحر وسيلنا زخونة number علنا ندحر مزخونة number نا real number نحر أربعين يسي real number يسبنا. So the number نصوص من كون يخل بالمعنى let's say تكون number نحرة 40 نزوس real number هنا let's say 1 into the real number is nothing but it is the real number مالتي 1 times 0 is 0, 1 times 10 is nothing but 10, 1 times minus 100 is nothing but minus 100. So this is the multiplicative identity لأن وصل real number مالتي. So لذا identity matrices كان لك عقوم مالتي so خون matrix مست identity نحرر 40 بعد matrix بنا مالتي there is nothing to change زخون لو تزاي مثلنا مالتي سلسي the identity matrix دي حجي 3 by 3 absolute nice 3 by 3 matrix يا أي تنحرر أخوين خاني which is 1 0 0 1 مالتي this is identity matrix for 2 by 2 matrix مالتي زخونه ولا vector نحرر أوسيدكم multiply نحرقلكم وتو vector بعد يجمع لكم مالتي that's the easiest and also you can see it also. Then transpose of a matrix. What does it mean by transposing of a matrix? The transpose changes rows into columns. Let's say this is nothing but it is a 2 by 3 matrix. The transpose in her it has to be what 3 by 2 malati. Then as you namani mazu nabz columns kumas kholo zarewa namtash metzal malati. So practice goru malati. Let's say a is equals to 1 minus 2 minus 3 0 1 4 6 7 minus 10 تحرر خوينو what is a transpose check. So أبزايد لنا زلو if a is m by n then its transpose is nothing but n by m مالتي. Then again a plus b transpose is nothing but a transpose b transpose. A b transpose is nothing but you can check it b transpose a transpose مالتي. So algebra just to remember هذا كله زي رسم زي بنا كذا كورز اللي هو usually مالتي a plus b b plus a addition commutative of matrices راح نسجل مثلنا a plus b plus of زي bracket حقنا the addition associative a times the خانة multiplication is nothing but it is associative مخاني إذا رأينا زلوا زي خانة distributive لو كان apply كم زجبر but a b is not equal to which is BA usually, so order matters commutative comes يرينا له. So keep this in your mind. When again here in this one when solving equations with matrices never switch the order of the multiplication unless you have a reason. ዝኾነ ዓይነት ምክንያት ወይ anyway ኣብቲ እንዳሰራሕኩም ከለኹም ባዕሉ ክሪአኩም ማለትይ so don't forget this algebra rules ማለትይ ኣብዚ እንታይ እዩ the transformation of a matrix. Let's say you have a matrix A which is, as you can see, this matrix ኣለትና, which is later we will see it, this is an upper triangular matrix malati. When we multiply it with this vector malati xy, then it gives us this. So basically you have this vector, then when you multiply it by this matrix A, then you get which is a new again vector malati. So matrix multiplication can describe geometry, not only arithmetic malati. تعانتويكم بورس احنا طرح the operation is equality in terms of 9 تشوم malati, in terms of 9 نحد matrix هلكا it matrix انت نحد vector أروح كايس انت مثلا خل زي later we'll see it on the again values again vectors بحلو define كنقبر كلنا clearly خلا عنا إمالتيو وين وصيركم منتخون يقومنا بنت x is equal to lambda times of x مالتيو كم زعيت نحركوا ينسي this lambda we call it the eigen value, and also the x is nothing but the eigen vector associated to each eigen value مالتي. That's the beauty of the matrices malati. So up to next نتعرينا مايتي inverse of a matrix كم يقرنا compute كنقبر نخل basically كساب زي حجرين نزلنا addition of matrix رينا subtraction square multiplication product of matrices رينا again transpose رينا. What does it mean by identity رينا in the form of applications soon to examples كم يقروا يسرح كم زلهم كرز إحنا مايتي. So this is all about the matrix algebra of the quality lecture, which is 2.2 of unit 2 malati. Yeah, thank you.